Hey folks, Eric here from DigitalSneakers.com. Well, I'm outside today and I'm excited to talk to you about the launch of the Polar Grit X, which is their new multi-sport watch. I'm supposed to get one by the end of the month, so check back to my channel by the end of the month, like in the next couple of weeks, because I will have a personal review to give you some more specifics about the watch itself. So let's talk first about wearables. Now, conventional wisdom used to be that if you wanted the best GPS, you would get a Garmin, and if you wanted the best heart rate monitor, you'd get a Polar. Well, Polar has definitely been playing a lot of catch-up, and I think that they really hit their stride last year when they launched the Vantage series. Now, Garmin came out with the super premium watch of the Phoenix series, and I think that Polar has finally sort of come up to that level. So what I want to do is I want to look at the Grit X in comparison to the Phoenix 5, because I think that that's the most comparable of the two. So the Grit X comes with a whole load of new features, and a lot of features that are going to be exclusive to the watch itself. But if I was a betting man, I would say that they are probably going to roll out a lot of these features to some of their other premium watches like the Vantage series, and then watches that they're going to be rolling out in the future. First of all, let's talk about size. Now, the Grit X comes in at 47 by 47 by 13, which means it is just a little bit slimmer, about 1.7 millimeters slimmer than the Phoenix 6, and about 4 millimeters slimmer than the Phoenix 5. And if you think that 4 millimeters or even 1.7 millimeters doesn't make a huge difference, let me tell you that when I used to wear a dress shirt and I was wearing the Phoenix 5, it was so thick that when I would put my arm through the sleeve, I would constantly get the watch caught on the sleeve. And when I got the Phoenix 6, that didn't happen. So the fact that this is 4 millimeters slimmer than the Phoenix 5, it's actually a Phoenix 5X Pro, is going to make a world of difference. The actual display, which is a little disappointing, is 1.2 inches across, and it's 240 by 240 pixels. The 240 by 240 pixels isn't disappointing. What's disappointing is the actual size. I always felt that for the size of the body of the Phoenix 5, that the actual space that was being used as the screen was a little too small, and I always felt like it was a lot of wasted space. So I would wish on the Grit X that the screen was a little bit bigger, but again, maybe that doesn't maybe that isn't such an issue. I'll have to see what happens when I get my hands on one. The Grit X comes in at $429, which is great. 40 hours of continuous battery life. That is if you are using GPS and heart rate and a bunch of other features during a race, but you can get up to 100 hours if you turn off some of those features. So there's different options to get more battery life, but using less features. That's compared to the Garmin Phoenix 5X, which gets 32 hours of battery life and up to 70 hours in what they're calling Ultra Track mode. And what you're really paying for in these kinds of watches are not just all of the fancy gizmos that come with it, all of the apps and all of the features, but you're also paying for battery life. And that's one thing that makes the body of the watch so big, is the size of the battery life, the size of the battery. So some of the features that come exclusive to the Grit X is something that they're calling FuelWise. Now, this is a reminder system for you to take in calories while you are on a race course. Now, you can use something called Smart Mode, which I guess does it at intervals, given a bunch of different metrics, maybe how many calories that you've expended. It tells you how many calories you need to take in, or you can set it manually, so you can set it for every, like when I'm in a race, like when I'm doing a marathon, I like to take in a gel every 45 minutes, which is just about every 10K. But again, like I said, I'm going to know more about what that smart feature is once I get my hands on the Grit X. Then now they have this is an interesting feature. They have something called Hill Splitter. Now, Hill Splitter is going to give you a set of metrics for when you're going up the hill and a different set of metrics for when you're going down the hill. Now, the theory here is that you're going to lose a race just as much from a bad descent as you are from a bad ascent. So this is going to give you an opportunity to really look at the metrics while you're training to figure out where you need to work. Is it a strategy for downhill? Is it a better strategy for uphill? So we'll see what that looks like. I'm excited to check that out. They do have turn-by-turn navigation via Komoot. I'm going to guess that this is for trail as well as road, because one of the graphics that came in the press package had a little mountain bike on it, as you can see here. So I'm going to guess that it was trail and road. Here's something that's really interesting. It's 2-day weather forecasting, which means that if you're mountaineering and you're, I don't know, planning your summit attack, you're going to know within 2 days if you're going to get sucked in by a blizzard or not. I don't know, like, don't we all just use our phones and our computers to figure out what the weather's going to be? But it's nice. It's a nice option. So there's a whole suite of features that already exist in the Polar universe that you're going to have access to on the GridX, and that's things like training load and sleep metrics and running power and access to Polar Flow, which is their online tool where you can upload and look at all your metrics. You're also going to be able to upload directly to some of the third-party sites like Strava and Training Peaks, and there's a whole list of them on Polar Flow. So it looks like it's a really interesting watch. I'm excited to get my hands on it in a couple of weeks. Please check back and look at my one-on-one review. If you found this video useful, please hit that like button below, get it up in the YouTube algorithm a little bit more, and if you like gear reviews, race reviews, or anything endurance sports related, I'm your guy. Please hit the subscribe and the bell next to it so you get notified when I put new videos up just about every week or so. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks, and I'll see you next time.